Section 2. Deed Details. Protecting Arizona from Deed Fraud. Understanding the foundation. Why deeds matter. Before you can detect fraud, you must understand what right looks like. Every fraudulent deed is built on top of something that appears legitimate. That is why this section is critical. If Section 1 opened your eyes to the danger of deed fraud, Section 2 gives you the tools to recognize it. A deed is not just paperwork, it is the legal backbone of property ownership. It is the document that transfers rights, establishes ownership, and creates a permanent record of who owns what. Without a valid deed, there is no legal transfer. Without understanding deeds, there is no way to identify fraud. What is a deed? A deed is a formal, legally binding document used to transfer ownership of real property from one party to another. It serves as the official evidence that ownership has changed hands and is relied upon by courts, lenders, title companies, and the public. Think of it this way: the deed is the story of ownership, written into the public record. If that story is false, everything built on top of it becomes vulnerable. The key players: grantor and grantee. Every deed involves two primary parties, and understanding their roles is essential to spotting fraud. The grantor is the person transferring ownership. This individual must have the legal right to convey the property, meaning they actually own it and are competent to transfer it. The grantee is the person receiving ownership. For a deed to be valid, the grantee must accept the transfer, either explicitly or through actions such as recording the deed or taking possession. Real-world example. If a fraudster impersonates the grantor and signs the deed, the entire transaction is built on a lie. The grantee may believe they have ownership, but legally, the transfer is defective. Property description, where fraud hides. One of the most overlooked but critical elements of a deed is the legal property description. This is not just an address. It is a precise legal identification of the property being transferred. Common forms include metes and bounds, using directions and distances, plat descriptions, based on recorded subdivision maps, rectangular survey system. Why this matters. A vague or incorrect description can signal fraud or create legal disputes. Fraudsters often rely on buyers and agents overlooking this section. The purpose of a deed, more than just transfer. A deed does more than transfer ownership, it protects it. It establishes legal ownership, provides proof of the transaction, and creates public notice when recorded. Recording the deed with the county ensures that the world knows who owns the property. This protects the new owner from future claims and helps maintain the integrity of the chain of title. Key insight. If the deed is fraudulent, the public record becomes compromised, and that is where major problems begin. Types of deeds. Understanding risk levels. Not all deeds provide the same level of protection, and this is where many professionals get caught off guard. A warranty deed provides the highest level of protection, guaranteeing clear title and requiring the grantor to defend against future claims. This is most common in residential transactions where buyers want full assurance. A special warranty deed offers limited protection, covering only issues that arose during the grantor's ownership. This is often seen in commercial transactions or bank-owned sales. A quitclaim deed provides no warranties at all. It simply transfers whatever interest the grantor may have, if any. This is commonly used in family transfers, divorces, or title corrections, but it is also one of the most abused tools in fraud schemes. Real-world application. Many deed fraud cases involve quitclaim deeds because they allow transfer without guarantees. That alone should raise your level of scrutiny. What makes a deed legally valid? For a deed to be enforceable, it must meet specific legal requirements. Missing even one element can invalidate the transfer. The deed must be in writing, consistent with the statute of frauds. It must clearly identify the grantor and grantee to avoid confusion or dispute. It must include a precise legal property description. The grantor must sign the deed, demonstrating intent to transfer ownership, and that signature must be acknowledged before a notary public to verify authenticity. The deed must include consideration, even if nominal, to show that something of value was exchanged. Finally, the deed must be delivered and accepted, and then recorded to provide public notice. This is where fraud often occurs. Fraudsters manipulate signatures, fake notarizations, or rush recording to create the appearance of legitimacy. Connecting this to deed fraud. Now you can start to see the pattern. Every element of a valid deed is also a potential point of manipulation. Fake grantor, impersonation, false signature, forgery, improper notarization, invalid acknowledgement, incorrect description, confusion or concealment, rapid recording, hiding fraud in plain sight. This is why understanding deeds is your first line of defense. Online discussion. Question 1. Why is understanding the components of a deed critical in preventing fraud? Answer. Because fraud typically occurs by manipulating one or more of the required elements of a valid deed, and recognizing those elements allows agents to detect irregularities. Question 2. Which type of deed presents the highest risk to a buyer and why? Answer. A quitclaim deed presents the highest risk because it provides no warranties or guarantees about ownership or title validity. Question 3. How does recording a deed protect ownership rights? Answer. Recording provides public notice of ownership, establishes priority, and protects against competing claims.